You all set up?
Yeah, all set. Yeah, ready to go.
Okay, speaker tonight. I love bringing back alumni. Guys that have been sat in these seats, been where you guys have been, have experienced what it's been, so they can obviously relate to you guys and your experience. And so without further ado, McConnell and the boy. We're done.
There's a moment every athlete dreams of. You're not thinking, you're just reacting. The game moves in slow motion. You see the play before it happens. And really, your body's moving exactly how it needs to, effortlessly and instinctively. You're in total control, but you're not forcing anything. Some call it the zone, others call it flow. Whatever you call it, you know it when you're in it. And when you are unstoppable. And can I just get a raise of hands right now? How many of you have been in this state, have been in the zone, have been in flow before? If you could just raise your hands. Yeah. Now, if you look around the room, that's damn near everybody. You know, as athletes, many of us have been in the zone before. We know what it is, we know what it feels like, we know why it's important to performance. But how often do we actually prepare for this state rather than just chase it? You know, we train our bodies, we train our minds, but how often do we train our awareness? Do we train our ability to lock in, reset, and tap into flow on command? By the end of this presentation, each of you will have a practice that primes your nervous system for flow. Because I'm a firm believer you do not rise to the occasion, but you fall back on your training. And today, your training for presence begins. How many of you know this equation, E plus R equals O? All right, good amount. Now, this is a powerful but very simple equation. It stands for event plus response equals outcome. Now, we do not control the events that come our way. We don't control the referee's calls. We don't control the weather. We don't control the opponent. But what we do have control over is how we can train our responses. And this helps to shape the outcome. Now, this is the flow channel model, okay? And really what this model is saying is what we want to be operating in this middle section. You got skill level on the x-axis, you have a challenge level on the y-axis. And the flow channel model was created by a world-renowned psychologist by the name of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. You don't need to try and write that down. It's going to be too hard to get it in there. But really what his research found is that this middle section where challenge level rises, like let's say for you guys, for example, on game day, challenge level rises. You want to have a skill level that is so high that it could rise up and meet it in the middle section. It is here that flow is accessed. The same way you guys are able to access flow though, you guys can also break it. And this is done when you step outside the present moment. And really, what this leads to is you make the challenge greater both in your mind and physically. When you step outside the present moment, now you're thinking about the past, maybe a past play, you're thinking about the future, what's going to happen next play, and now you're no longer here. In the process, now your mind is jumping ahead, you're not where you are, and your body goes into a state of survival. You tighten up, and now both physically and mentally, it's a harder challenge. So if we raise the challenge, but our skill level now cannot rise up and meet it, rather than performing in flow, we're now performing out of a place of anxiety. And really, this is why awareness training matters. It's not necessary to just keep you calm, it's to maintain the flow that your training is building right now. So let's go back to this equation. Because, like I said, it's through our attachment and being outside the present moment. So when we attach the outcomes, we're stepping outside the present moment. And thus, we're stepping outside of flow. We're not able to perform at our highest potential. So what we really need to do, because we can't control the event, is get rid of the event and the outcome, or the response and the outcome. And in its place, we're going to replace it with presence and flow. Event plus presence equals flow. When we respond from a place of presence, rather than attachment to the outcome, it is here where we're able to access a flow state. And that's really where the magic happens. That's where you perform at your highest potential. And, you know, when I say this, I'm not saying that having goals, having things that you are pursuing is a bad thing. You know, having a vision for yourself, for the team, for the season is extremely powerful. But when it comes to game time, when it comes to the fire of competition, if you are attached to your goals, to the outcome, you're no longer in the present moment. And in the process, you're not going to be able to perform at your highest potential. And so the question you guys probably now have is, how do we do this? How do we maintain presence? Because it's easy to say, but it's really hard to do. Well, when I was here at Lewis & Clark, there was something I kind of came across and began to implement called the 3 pillars of presence. And that is ultimately what I want to pass down to you guys. And it's really with the 3 pillars of presence where you're going to be able to maintain presence, access flow, and perform at your highest potential. So to go into who I am a little bit, my name is McConnell LeBoy, and it wasn't that long ago I was in your shoes. I played cornerback here, and like I said, it was during my time here I learned about mindfulness, I learned about presence, I learned about flow. But you know, when I came in as a freshman, this was not the case. All I knew was results. You know, I wanted to chase stats, accolades, wins, championships. And ultimately, this was all because I wanted to earn a D1 level scholarship. That was my ultimate goal. And you know, when I came here, this is all I knew. Nothing changed. And I wanted to prove to everyone and myself that I was a D1 caliber player. And you know, initially, this led to some great results. I was named a starter early, and I had a pretty good season up until the time I faced George Fox University. And George Fox at that time was ranked 20th in the nation. From the time I was in camp where you guys are now, I had that game marked on my calendar because I knew this was the opportunity to prove to everyone and myself I was a D1 caliber player. Long story short, I have the worst game of my career. I allowed 3 touchdowns, all over the distance of 50 yards. The first 2 coming on the first 2 drives of the game. And I should have mentioned this, it was all in one half. I got benched after the first half. Going to the next week, I'm now second string. My ego kind of takes over. I'm pissed off, and I was a punk in practice. I was giving Coach Jackson, who I believe talked to you guys recently, who was the DB and DC coach at the time, attitude, gave my teammates, the other coaches attitude. And after practice, Coach Jackson came to me and was like, hey, we need to talk. Come to my office tomorrow. Going into that meeting, I was fully ready to tell Coach Jackson my mind. I come into his office, he closes the door behind me, I sit down, he sits down, and he looks at me square in the face and just asks, what's going on, man? This isn't you. And right there, I broke down, because he was right. I began to cry, and I told him, you know what, Coach? I cannot just get out of my own head. I feel like I let you down. I feel like I let my teammates down. I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I let my family down. And then he told me some words I'll never forget. He said, you know, McConnell, you are a hell of a player, but you will never reach your full potential until you get out of your head and you learn to just play and have fun. And I don't know what it was, but in that moment, something just clicked. I felt the pressure and the weight that I've been putting on myself through my expectations, through my thoughts. I felt it all be just let free. And that is the first pillar of presence that I learned during my time here at Lewis & Clark. Number 1, don't take it so seriously. Have fun. I want you to think back to the moment you fell in love with the game of football. Why'd you fall in love with the game? I don't know what it was exactly, but I'm willing to bet part of it was because you had a lot of fun playing it. And that fun, it isn't just a bonus, it's actually a key. Research out of Stanford has shown that athletes who experience enjoyment in the field of competition are significantly more likely to access a flow state. In fact, one study found it was the #1 predictor if an athlete was going to experience flow or not. So yeah, have fun. It sounds simple, but it's actually extremely powerful and backed in science. Now, how do we let go? How do we let go of the expectations we hold ourselves, the standards we hold ourselves, and really tap into this level of joy? Because that's the hard part. Well, what I began to practice was just simply gratitude. Before every practice, before every game, I would take 30 seconds to just list out the 5 things I was grateful for that game, for that practice. And really, it could be anything. It could be being a part of a brotherhood. It could be being able to represent your family. It could be being able to lace up your cleats one more time. And, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be anything big. It just has to be real to you in that moment. And, you know, when I began to do this, I really saw how powerful it could be. And so coming out of that meeting, Coach Jackson told me, he was like, hey, you're going to have another opportunity. When you do, I want to see you have fun. So the next game was wagon wheel, big week. First half, I don't get the chance to play. At halftime, Coach Jackson said, hey, you're starting this half. Have fun. So I sit down in my locker, I say the 5 things I'm grateful for, and I go and take the field. First drive of the game, I get a cooter call to my side, cornerback blitz. And in that moment, I wasn't thinking about how I was going to do anything. I wasn't thinking about my assignment. All I was feeling was gratitude for the moment, gratitude for the opportunity to rush after this quarterback. And then this happened. Oh, it's not going to play, is it? Sorry about that, y'all. Anyways, it was a big sack. But really what I was able to access was flow for the first time on the football field. And in that moment, the game was moving in slow motion. I saw plays happen before they were coming. And I unlocked a potential I didn't know I was capable of unlocking. And I had the game, like half of my career. I had 7 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, 3 pass deflections, an interception, a 50-yard return. And it was at that moment I knew I tapped into something special. Through trying less, through gratitude for the moment, I was able to unlock a potential I didn't know I had. And after that season, after my freshman year, I became absolutely obsessed with learning about flow. And I began to study some of the greats who came before me. And this included Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Now, if I ask you guys, what are some traits that kind of come to mind when you think of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant? Like, what are they? And you guys could just kind of yell some out, and I'll try to pick some off. Competitive leader. Killer mentality. What was it? Relentless effort. Yeah. GOAT. I like that. All of these are the same things I thought of when I thought of these guys at the time. I saw them as killers, ultra competitors who would do anything to be great and win. But when I studied their process, I found something almost paradoxical. These killers, ultra competitors who would do anything to win, they also had a daily meditation practice. They practiced stillness, coming back to their center, the art of letting go. And what I found was that stillness was actually a foundation to their dominance. Now, this is a quote by the author of Michael Jordan's biography. Most people live in fear because they project. Michael's a mystic. He was never anywhere else. His gift was that he was completely present, and that was the separator. A big downfall of many gifted players is thinking about failure. Michael didn't allow what he couldn't control to get inside his head. Michael Jordan was not thinking about the result. He wasn't thinking about success or failure. He was simply trying to stay in the present moment. And now a quote by Michael Jordan. When the game's on the line, I'm not thinking about the outcome. I live in the present. Once again, when the game's on the line, when the pressure is on, he's not thinking about making the shot or missing the shot, winning the game or losing the game. He's simply living in the moment. And now a quote by Kobe. The mindset isn't about seeking a result. It's more about the process of getting to that result. It's a way of life. It's not about pursuing the result, but it's about being present in the process and allowing the result to come. And ultimately, that is the second pillar of presence that I learned, really from these 2 great athletes, but also during my time here at Lewis & Clark. Let go of the results, allow the results to come. When you cling to the interception, the touchdown, the win or the loss, you are no longer in the moment. Your mind races ahead, your bodies tighten up, and your physiology goes into a state of survival. But performance doesn't live in survival. It lives in presence. And you're only able to access presence when you let go of future outcomes. Once again, though, this is going against everything that we are taught at a young age as athletes. We're taught set goals, have the willpower, the drive to see those goals through. So once again, how are we able to do this? Go against what we are taught. Well, the thing I began to practice was rather than focusing on a result, a thing I couldn't control, I redirected my focus onto something I could always control, which was my breath. And I would practice this breathing technique where it goes like this. Breathe in, breathe out. And you guys did it kind of with me, but I want us to all do it together one time, all right? Breathe in, breathe out. Before every play, I practiced this. And what I noticed was it helped me to reset, to not think about the pick I wanted, the play I wanted to make, but really to come back to the present moment, focus in on my key, which as the corner was the near side hip of the receiver. And when I began to do this, really it wasn't just resetting, it really was a performance enhancer. Stanford researcher Dr. Andrew Huberman has stated that this breathing technique, 2 inhales followed by a long exhale, also known as the physiological sigh, is the quickest way to downshift our nervous system from a state of survival into a state of calm, literally letting our bodies know that we are safe and we are present. In fact, another study shown that people who practice breathing control before performance experience up to a 500% increase in focus, reaction time, and execution under pressure. So really, when you're able to practice breathing control, redirecting your focus off of the results and into the moment, it's really a powerful weapon. And it's something that I've found out how powerful it could be in my next 2 seasons. Like Coach said, I was blessed to be able to be named All-Conference Corner. And by practicing letting go of results and really focusing on the present moment, I was able to realize a potential I didn't know was there. I was able to dominate over a stretch of time. But really, what I was most proud about was I got named as a captain by my teammates and coaches. You see, not only did letting go of results and coming to the present moment did it allow me to perform at a higher level, but it allowed me to be able to listen and lead from a place of service and compassion. And that's what I'm most proud about. So at this point, I have found something special. I was able to perform and play from a place of joy and gratitude. I was able to let go of results and play in the present moment, tap into flow, almost on command. But then my senior year happened. Coming out of my junior year, I started dealing with injuries. These chronic injuries that the trainers told me there is no fix, there's no surgery, no rehab, just you sitting and dealing with the pain and the inflammation for the rest of your career, maybe your life. COVID hits, the classmates, the boys I came in with, and it was our mission to turn this program around. Almost all of them were not going to come back. And then going into the camp of my 5th and final year, I had to deal with one of the hardest personal storms I've ever had to go through. In that moment, I was not able to access flow. I was far from it. I was in a state of survival, of just trying to stay afloat. But I was a 5th-year senior. I was expected to lead, perform at a high level, but I couldn't. And there would be this thing that would happen. I wasn't performing at the level I knew I should have. I wasn't leading at the level I knew I should have. And I would judge myself, judge my situation, judge my circumstances as being bad. And it would only lead to me being further and further out of the present moment, stuck in the past, stuck with anxiety about the future. And it just would constantly get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I felt like I was out of control and lost. And it was here that I discovered something that began to change everything. And really, it came from one of my heroes, also from Hawaii, Max Holloway. Now, if you know Max, you know he has a common saying, a mantra that he repeats after every win, after every loss, and after any time life throws him a curveball. It is what it is. And I was gonna show you a video that represented that. Once again, we're not gonna be able to do that. But it was funny, it was a funny video. But anyways, I know the saying, it sounds simple, but man, it's extremely powerful. Because, when life throws you a curveball, when it flips you on your head, when things don't go as planned, when people leave and your heart is heavy, the only thing that could keep you in the present moment is acceptance for reality as it is. Not to run away from it, not to push it away or hide from it, but to be with it, feel it, experience it fully. Because when you come to this level of acceptance, it's then that you can begin to move on with clarity. And that is the 3rd pillar of presence, and the 3rd and final pillar of presence I want to talk about. Number 3, let go of judgments. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. When I began to embody this, not just repeat it, but truly embody it, when I would feel the pain, when I would feel the hurt, I would remind myself, it is not good or bad. It is what it is. Now what? When I was able to do this, I was able to move on with clarity. I was able to perform again and lead from the potential I knew I could have. And really, it led to me being able to experience moments of flow one last time with my teammates. And the play I wanted to show was really the play that Coach was talking about, the 80-yard interception return on homecoming. And once again, this was a moment where the game moved in slow motion to me. I saw the play before it happened and just took advantage of it. But, you know, I want you guys to think about how you guys can practice that sometime this week. You know, maybe it's in practice. You or a teammate makes a mistake. Maybe you guys make a highlight. Maybe your body is hurting. Maybe your body is feeling great. I want you to take a moment, take a breath, and remind yourself, it's not good or bad. It is what it is. Now what? Because when you are able to come from this place of neutrality and acceptance, it is then that you can maintain your level of presence and your level of flow. Because if we're being real, there's going to be a lot of highs and lows for you boys this season, right? You guys could be down 21 points. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. Now what? You guys could go up 21 points. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. Now what? You guys could be tied with 1 drive left. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. Now what? When you guys are able to maintain this level of presence, nothing can take you out of your flow. And when you are able to do this, it's then that you become unstoppable. So, we got 3 pillars of presence. And I'm going to run through them one more time with y'all. Number 1, don't take it so seriously. Have fun. When you're able to tap into gratitude, tap into joy, it is here where you're able to access a flow state. Number 2, let go of results. Allow the results to come. When you're no longer clinging to the interception, the touchdown, the win, or the loss, it is then where you're able to maintain a level of flow and dominance over a stretch of time. And finally, let go of judgments. It is not good or bad. It is what it is. When life flips you on your head, when it stomps on you and spits on you, when you do not think you can make it through, if you are able to be in it, feel it, and experience it fully, it is then you will be able to move on with clarity. And it's at that point where nothing, no one can take you out of your flow. And it's then you become unstoppable. And now to wrap, I have a quote by Lao Tzu that I absolutely love. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. So that is it. 3 practices to help you train your presence like you train your bodies. 3 pillars to help you access flow on command. And yes, this can and will help you on the football field. I know it helped me. But what I didn't expect was how much it would help me in life. Because presence isn't just a performance tool. It's the acknowledgement that you are alive, that you are here now. It's a way of living. Because when you learn to be where you are, right here, right now, it is then that you begin to allow your light to shine. And that is what I want for you. Because each and every one of you in this room has a unique light to bring to this world. It's one that isn't earned. It's not going to be found in stats and accolades, approval, wins, losses, or championships. It's already right here. And when you are present, and I mean truly present, it is then that you allow that light to shine. Without fear, without effort, and without the need of being anything other than who you are. So here's my challenge to you, gentlemen. Be the man that the world needs right now. Not one that leads with fear. Not one who is louder or tougher or more successful, but one who is more grounded, humble, and present. Because when men like you show up and lead with presence, you bring peace to a place of chaos. You bring strength to uncertainty. And you bring a light to a world that's forgotten its own. So keep training, keep breathing, and keep coming back to your center. Because your greatness isn't out there. It's already right here. And that's really it for me. I just want to send my appreciation to all you guys for your time, your energy. If you guys are interested in any future coaching, I provide coaching through my company, Lokahi Wellness. Here's a QR code to my website. Once again, I'm just appreciative of your guys' time and energy. I wish you guys nothing but the best this season. Roll piles and aloha.
Really good, very good.